Those of you that have followed my channel for a while now will know that I've been on multiple Octopus tariffs over the past few years. In March last year, 2023, I moved to a new tariff introduced by Octopus called Octopus Flux and took advantage of their great export rates at peak times. Since then though, the export rates on Flux have reduced a little, and I also bought an electric vehicle and moved to Intelligent Octopus Go to take advantage of the cheap overnight tariff, 7.5p per kilowatt hour, which makes it around £5 to fill my Tesla Model 3 from 0 to 100%. Octopus have since increased the rates on Intelligent Octopus Go as well, from 4p to 15p per kilowatt hour for everything exported back to the grid from solar panels. So today I'm hoping to answer the question, which tariff is best for me for spring and summer? Should I switch back to Octopus Flux, or does Intelligent Octopus Go now offer a better alternative with an electric vehicle and solar and a home battery? I've run the sums for a variety of different alternatives, so stay tuned to find out more. Hi everyone, I'm Danny V Solar, and on this channel you can follow my journey all things solar panels, electric vehicles, renewable energy tariffs, money saving and much more. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to follow me on this journey, and if you find this video useful, please give it a like as well. That will hopefully help my videos reach a wider audience and hopefully help more people in turn. I've been creating these videos on YouTube now for over a year, and I just want to say a big thank you to all the support, comments, questions, likes and subscribes that I've had on the channel. It really does help me and my videos, and I really appreciate each and every one of you that's contributed to the community that this is created. So first, let's start by looking at the two tariffs I'll be comparing today and some of the conditions needed to get onto these tariffs. There are other tariffs out there as well, which may be better suited to your needs, so it's important that you do your own sums for your own usage and calculate which one is likely to work out better for you. I've also run some numbers for different scenarios as well, which may be more suited to your usage, and I'll link the spreadsheet that I've used in the description so you can plug the figures in for yourself and see which one might work out best. And make sure you let me know in the comments what you find and if you find any issues with the spreadsheet I've been using as well. I'm also assuming for this video that you have a solar and home battery system installed, and you also have an electric vehicle as well, as these are some of the requirements for both of these tariffs. So first let's start with the tariff I'm currently on, Intelligent Octopus Go. This is a great tariff offered by Octopus and is designed for electric vehicle drivers and offers a minimum of 6 hours off-peak time between 11:30 p.m. and 5:30 a.m. So a cheap off-peak rate currently as of March 2024 overnight for 7.5p per kilowatt hour. And this tariff also offers additional hours above and beyond the 6 hours when the grid has a good amount of renewable energy, and will time your EV charge to match with the best and greenest times to charge it up. The rest of the day is charged at a higher rate of around 30p per kilowatt hour. And to qualify for this tariff, you will need to have an electric vehicle and then either a compatible electrical vehicle that works with Octopus or a compatible EV charger and also a working smart meter as well. This tariff can now also be combined with the Agile outgoing tariff or the Octopus outgoing tariff, which pays 15p per kilowatt hour for everything exported at any time of the day. So this tariff is now even more attractive than it was this time last year. Octopus Flux, on the other hand, is designed for customers with a solar install and a home battery install, and it has 3 separate prices throughout the day. There's a flux rate for import between 2 and 5 a.m, and that costs around 16p in the northeast of England as of March 2024, and dependent on your area, a day rate of 27p and a peak rate of 38p per kilowatt hour. To get onto this tariff, you need to have a solar and a home battery install and also a smart meter as well. This tariff is also combined with a Flux export tariff, which offers the customer a flux rate for export of 5p per kilowatt hour between 2 and 5 a.m. in the morning, a day rate of 16p per kilowatt hour for everything exported, and a peak rate export price of nearly 29p between 4 and 7 p.m. So a really attractive rate for that time period. And if you would like to join Octopus for either of these tariffs or any of their other great smart tariffs, it would be amazing if you could use the code that's on screen now and also listed in the description as well. If you use this, you get £50 added to your account when you join, and I also get £50 as well, which really helps me to keep improving the content on this channel. So let's try and plug some of these figures into the spreadsheet that I've made for my 2023 usage and see what comes out. For this comparison, I've used the 6-month period roughly between when I switched in March 2023 and September 2023, And I've cross-checked that against how it would compare to the current Flux tariff rates and also the Intelligent Octopus Go tariff as well. Let's take a look. So let's start by just describing how I've got these figures. So the first one is my 2023 scenario based on my usage between the 26th of March and the 18th of September. As you can see, I've compared the Octopus Flux tariff with the Intelligent Octopus Go tariff. And you might notice that the import for the home usage is different. And that's for me because last year, as you can see on the prices on the right, the off-peak price for import was just 16.6 pence. And the export for the day rate was 16.8 pence. So very little difference for most of the time when I would be exporting. So I actually let the sun fill my battery up and never actually imported overnight to fill the battery. So between the months of March and September, I used around about 1 kilowatt hour per month on average, so really low usage when the sun was shining. And that equates to around 6 kilowatt hours for that time period. As I'm on the Intelligent Octopus Go tariff now, it makes most sense to fill the battery up overnight at 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour and then export anything you make during the day. So I've assumed that for this time period, I was filling up with roughly 3 kilowatt hours per night just to top my battery up. And that equates to 501 kilowatt hours for this time period. For my EV usage, I've looked at the average that I've used since I've got it, and it's around about 320 kilowatt hours per month. So if we divide that by the number of days and then times it up by the number of days between 26th of March and 18th of September, we get the figure of 1,781 kilowatt hours that I would use to top my EV up. Again, the exports figures are slightly different, so between this period last year on Flux, I exported 2,752 kilowatt hours. If I was in Intelligent Go, I would be exporting that additional 501 from the import as the battery would be nearly full, so assuming I export 3,253 in this scenario. So that would mean my home import cost was just £1 on Intelligent Flux for last year. And I would be paying around about just under £300 for filling my EV on Octopus Flux with that more expensive rate. And if we compare that to Intelligent Octopus Go, that would cost me £37.58 for the 500 kilowatt hours import on that cheap 7.5 pence rate, and would cost me around about £133.60 to fill my EV overnight for that time period. And export gains, this is where Octopus Flux really comes into its own. So last year I made roughly on average somewhere right in between the day rate and the peak rate. So if we look at these figures, we're assuming an average export rate of around about 22 pence per kilowatt hour. And that gives us around £615.48 for export on Flux and £487.95 for the export rate of 15 pence per kilowatt hour on Intelligent Octopus Go. And I was absolutely astonished to see how close these figures actually were. So this would make me £317.36 on Octopus Flux for this period because of that export rate. And then for Intelligent Octopus Go, it would make me £316.78. So basically 60 pence difference on this. So my plan right now is not to switch and stick with Intelligent Octopus Go right the way through the year. If we modify that scenario slightly, if we take the assumption that I topped up my battery overnight on the low flux rate, so therefore we're importing around about the same on Octopus Flux and Intelligent Octopus Go, importing the same for the EV and exporting the same, you can see Flux slightly wins on this by around about £30. So this is another alternative. I know many of you were topping up overnight on Flux, and you can see that makes a slight difference to the outcome. But what if we mix this up a bit and start looking what would happen if we had low EV usage, high EV usage, low exports and high exports? So first let's take a look at the low EV usage scenario. So again, we've assumed 501 kilowatt hours imported to fill the battery overnight, and then just 891, which is half of my usage, exporting the same. And in this scenario, as you can see, Flux wins by over £100 in earnings because of that low EV usage and then also the high export. And if we look at high usage for EV scenario, so say you had 2 electric vehicles, for example, and you were pulling around about 3,563 kilowatt hours for this time period. Again, assuming the same 501 kilowatt hours imported to fill the battery and then exporting that same amount again, In this scenario, Octopus Flux with the high EV usage would make £49.71, whereas Intelligent Octopus Go would make you £183.18. So you can see there's a tipping point with the EV usage that swings it back in favour of Go the more EV usage you have. And if we look at a low export scenario, so if we assume an average EV usage, again back to that 1781 kilowatt hours for this period, 501 kilowatt hours for importing in the home to fill the battery, and just 1500 kilowatt hours export during these 6 months from your solar system. So you can see because of that low export amount, it would cost £45.16 on Flux and would make you £53.85 on Intelligent Octopus Go. So you can start to see it's really that import number for your home usage and electric vehicle and the export number, and there becomes a tipping point where one outweighs the other. And just to finalise this, if we look at a high export scenario, and you have to have a pretty big system to get to this number, but just to emphasise the point, so I've used 5,000 kilowatt hours exported between the 6 months in spring and summer. And again, you can really see how much you could potentially earn on the export for Octopus Flux. That's £1,118.25 for those 6 months in spring and summer, and then £750 on Intelligent Octopus Go. So yet again, if you put up that export figure, Flux wins £737 earned versus £578. So what do these figures tell us? Well, ultimately, there's a tipping point for both electric vehicle usage and also for the amount you're exporting as well. So basically, the figures suggest that if you have a high export number, Flux probably just about makes sense. Whereas if you are using a lot of import to fill your electric vehicle, then Intelligent Octopus Go starts to make more sense. For my situation personally, I think I'm probably somewhere in the middle in terms of an average user. So my plan would be to stay put for the spring and summer on Intelligent Octopus Go. As I mentioned, I've put that link in the description for the spreadsheet that I've used. Feel free to take a look at that and plug in the figures that you use and see how that compares, and make sure you let me know in the comments what you think. And if you find that spreadsheet useful, I'd be really grateful if you could click on the super thanks button below, or I've also got a link to buy me a coffee if you wanted to donate something for the work that I've put into this video, or even just a like on the video would be great if you found it useful as well. So there's plenty more content coming up on the channel, so make sure you subscribe to follow my journey. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.